Hello, my name is Adam Herrera. I'm here to talk about something important about millions of people that go through this social stigma of mental illness. Well, I'm the CEO and owner of Ambient Healing LLC, which is www.ambienthealing.biz. You can find it on your browser, not the search engines. I'm also a graduate student going to get my master's in uh, human resources management, and I'm also I also have a BA in mental health counseling, uh, and I went to school for that for 3.5 years. But the most important part is talking about I'm diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder with CPTSD. We're not here to talk about CPTSD. That's another subject. But what I wanted to discuss was schizoaffective disorder. Now, the great philosopher who won the day is Immanuel Kant, and his theory goes, and his quote unquote, there can be no doubt that all our knowledge begins with experience, but it does not arise, but it does not follow that it arises out of it, quote unquote, end quote. And with that in mind, I'd like to discuss what schizoaffective disorder is. It was discovered in 1933 with a Russian psychiatrist and psychologist, and it hasn't been in the DSM to the late 19th century. Uh, what basically schizoaffective disorder was a half bipolar and half schizophrenia, and that's what I'm afflicted with. Uh, I'll give you my diagnosis, which is schizoaffective uh, bipolar type 1. And what that means is my bipolar part tends to have in phases or spectrums of bipolar 1. And my schizophrenia side has spectrums of signs of schizophrenia. Now, every patient or client is unique. They have their own set of signs or symptoms and what goes on in their mind. My particular signs or symptoms for bipolar is grandiosity, depression. It's not racing thoughts anymore. You'll find that in those beginning stages. I have had this since 1997, and that's when I started going into the hospital. And then my schizophrenia. I don't hear voices. I don't see things that are not there. Basically, they're delusions uh, and paranoia. But the paranoia for me stems out of the CPTSD, the complex post-traumatic stress disorder, since I have 4 cases of it. But that's something else. So what I want to talk about is basically in the beginning stages of what I went through, and somebody else, other clients or patients, maybe you have a family member, maybe you have a friend, or even complete strangers going on with this. You see on the side of the road. But in the initial beginning, they'll have racing thoughts for bipolar. They'll have racing thoughts. Uh, this goes for bipolar 1 and 2. Racing thoughts, elation, grandiosity, depression, sadness, and there's a lot more flight of ideas. There's a lot more interesting signs and symptoms that goes on with bipolar. But with schizophrenia, there's paranoia, there's voices, there's delusions, There's also too there's uh, little or no knowledge of subjects, so they may claim all that. The it takes years basically. It takes years of group therapy and individual therapy to get in control of things. It took me what, maybe 1997 and in 2027 be 30 years maybe. Yeah, 25, 30 years. So, group therapy, 13 years of group therapy and individual therapy. But with this illness, like I said, everybody's different, and everybody will have their own sets of signs and symptoms of each illness, and they'll need a lot of support, which I didn't have in the beginning. The only people that I had in the beginning was my father, who stuck through me through it all, and my friend Lisa, and but she's married now, and so I have to do this on my own. But I will be in therapy for the rest of my life, especially with the CPTSD. I have to start dealing with that. But I am a productive member of society. I volunteer at different places, like the homelessness. I deal with homelessness. I dealt with it for 3 years. So I volunteered at the homeless shelters on my off time, not to gain any points, but to help the home that I had, and it's an ongoing process. Let me give you an example of what I used to think in the initial beginning, and this is from the bipolar side. I used to think when my grandiosity was, well, I'm gonna have this great plan of grandeur, and everybody will see me as famous, and I'll make lots of money, and I really don't think I'm soaring. My fly idea is I'm gonna write a book. I'm going to do all this, and I will be published, and everybody will see that I'm a great philosopher, and I will definitely have uh, some loving friends that will accept me for who I am. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but a lot of that's true. Half of it. I did self-publish 3 novels. I did have a website where I gained 250 million, half a million, or 250,000 followers and readers, and I had let that go because that was something I was giving free information. I wasn't expecting to publish any books after all. I just wanted to make it accessible to the people that are indigent, and basically I let that go after 12 years. The website. Now I have a website where it'll make money in the process, and it'll be up and running by April. And I'm able to control that and do the marketing and do every function, CFO, COO, make every decision, bookkeeping, make every decision that I need to do for internet business, e-commerce website. But I'm also understanding my delusions a whole lot better, which my delusions were being Jesus Christ, the second coming, also to having special powers when I don't. Uh, there's other things that they're paranoid that everybody's out to get me when there's no proof of that. And just like no Jesus Christ, there's no proof of that. I don't have special powers, intuition, and the sixth sense is in every one of us. Nobody is special enough to have that, except for the one that came and saved the day, which was Jesus Christ. And if there can be a fixation about spirituality and religion, although it helps, mentally ill human beings. The thing is, they shouldn't get too involved into their spirituality or religious beliefs. It would just consume everything. So, how did I do it? So, the great philosopher that saved philosophy, Socrates, said once quoted saying, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and basically that means know thyself. So, how I got to this stage took 25, 30 years of staying on medications, uh, going to therapy, going to individual therapy, having friends that I can trust. Uh, because at the first, my mom told me that was I autistic. She thought I was autistic and mentally retarded. I was depressed, and this is why this video is important, because every person in this life gets depressed at once time in their life, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with not being okay. Everybody thinks that the mighty rules, and nobody gets depressed, and they shouldn't have anything to be depressed about. But the fact of the matter is, when you have a relationship and it breaks up, yeah, it creates sadness in your eyes. And my diagnosis was last time I went to a psychiatrist was flight ideas, and which was did they did never did the research, which was I'm a thinker. My parents are naturally born idealists, and they are thinkers, and so I just picked that up from them. That was something not natural. I mean, abnormal about it. And then depression. Yeah, maybe, but it's nothing compared to what it was 20, 25 years ago. I was crying for everything. Basically, I don't cry for much now, but I do cry still a little bit when I hear songs. And songs help. The medication helps. They need to be mentally ill patients they need to be managed by medications because they actually help. But family and friends also do help the structure of a mentally ill human being. So what you think, or what everybody thinks about schizoaffective, is dead wrong. It is manageable, it is curable, and people can lead productive lives. The best advice I can tell you is look into your eyes of your friend, your loved one, or a stranger who has schizophrenia, or major depressive disorder, or bipolar 1 or 2, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Look at their eyes. If you can see feelings or life in their eyes, then they're safe. But if you can't see any feelings, then I would be very cautious. However, less than 10% of mentally ill patients are violent. Yes, it does. You see the stories about mass murders and everything, but you have to consider that those few stories are out of tens of millions of people who have mental illness or temporary mental illness from a relationship breakup, a business fault that happened. Some people just have a psychotic break when they have no mental illness at all. So, what we think about schizoaffective is dead wrong. It can be controlled, it can be managed. People can learn to lead productive lives instead of thinking that they're on the side of the corner asking for money or under a bridge, which I experienced. But I have my apartment now. Living with my father was good, it helped me. Now I have my business, it'll be up in April. And so, what psychiatrists and psychologists and the therapists teach you is true. They teach you about terms about being mindful. They'll teach you about being spiritual. They teach you about being resilient. They teach you about cognitive distortion and reframing. Those are technical terms. But like I mentioned before, mental illness is a illness and disease that can be not cured. You're never going to get it. There's no cure to it as of yet. Hopefully in the future. But it can be managed in a mentally ill patient and human being, if you see that deep inside of them, can control it and lead successful lives. Thank you.